This tutorial will cover formatting a research paper, including creating citations, inserting those citations, creating a works cited page, as well as adding numbers in the header, inserting footnotes and endnotes, and a table of contents.
This exercise will be looking at formatting a research paper. You'll find this probably most helpful if you're having to do any type of research papers, possibly in school still. So this may or may not end up being very relevant depending on what you're going to be using the Microsoft Word program for, if you're going to be typing, a lot of papers and doing research, or if it'll basically be for other purposes. So I have a template that's just already compiled for me to begin showing you within paragraphs. So this looks kind of how maybe a research paper may look. And we are going to first look at creating citations. Then we're going to look at inserting a citation and then creating a works cited page. If you're in college right now, I will tell you that creating a works cited page will save you a whole lot of time and headache. I know I hated having to do the works cited page myself, understanding the format that it needed to be in and things like that. And so this is a shortcut that you will definitely appreciate. So we'll get started here by first creating a citation. So you do that by, on the References tab, you will go to the Citations and Bibliography group. You will click the drop down. By the style to figure out, which style they want your citations in. And so it may be MLA, it could be APA, it could be Chicago, it could be any of these others as well. I know when I was in college, I think it was mostly MLA or APA. For today's purpose, we're going to click on MLA 7th edition. Now, if you do have an older version of Word, you may still have like the 6th edition, but that's okay. Just click the one that says MLA. And then we're going to select Manage Sources. This is where you can add a new source, and the sources that you enter, they will always stay in your master list until it is manually deleted. So maybe you're writing a research paper and next year you decide you want to use that same quote or whatever for a different research paper. You would actually still have it in your master list unless you've deleted it. So how you will add a source, you will click New. And then it's going to basically have you select, is it a book section, journal article, periodical, etc. We'll stick with book. It's going to ask for the author. So we will put in Bill Harris. And it wants to know the title of the book. And we're going to write Why Upgrade Microsoft. And the year, which is 2015. It also asks for the city, which we don't have, so we're going to leave it blank. And then the publisher, which is ABC Publishing. And once you have this information entered, you'll just go ahead and click OK. So now it's added this source to our master list, and we also have it on our current list. And so you can, click this if you want to delete it from your current list, or click over here if you want to delete it from the master list, etc. So this shows you kind of what the citation will look like, and also what the bibliography, when you do your works cited page, what that will look like, how it will be written. Okay, you'll go ahead and click Close. So now if we want to actually insert the citation, you will figure out, where you're wanting to put that. And usually what will happen is you'll put that after you've used, or summarized the information from that source or used a quote from that source, etc. So we're going to place the insertion point at the last word in the first sentence. Before the punctuation. So, the last word in the first sentence before the punctuation. And what you'll do is you'll actually choose the Insert Citation drop down on the References tab. So References tab where it says Insert Citation, you'll click the drop down. And here it'll give you your choices. So if we had more than one entry, we would be able to select which entry we wanted. And we'll just go ahead and click Bill Harris. And so now what it did is it automatically put Harris in an open parentheses, close parentheses for that citation. So citations are surrounded by the quotations, and that if the citation is surrounded by a quotation, it means all of the information in the author's information is verbatim. If there are no quotations, like in this exercise, that means the information is reworded. So next thing that you would have to do is, when you're writing a research paper, at the very end of your document, you're going to list all of your sources and the books they were found in, etc. So we will create a works cited page. It says place the insertion point at the end of the document. So here's the end of our document. And it says on the Insert tab, go to the Pages group and select Page Break. So a citations page does go on its own individual page. And it says once the insertion point is on the last page of the document, so it is, go to the References tab. And in the Citations and Bibliography drop-down button, we're going to choose Works Cited. So you can choose bibliography version, references, or works cited version. We're going to choose works cited. And now it names our page, that is the works cited page, and it puts in the source the way that it should be typed in this MLA style 7th edition. And that, my friends, is how you begin doing a research paper and making sure that you give credit where credit is due. Previously, we did citations for a research paper and works cited page. Something that also might come in handy when doing a research paper or just a professional document in the workplace would be adding page numbers and putting them in the header so that they default on each page that you have, as well as inserting footnotes or a table of contents. And so we will focus on those 3 items in this exercise. I will start with adding page numbers in the header. To add a page number in the header, you're going to go to the Insert tab, and you're going to find the Header Footer group, and then you're going to click Page Number. We'll give you an option to select where you want the page number located, top page, bottom of the page, page margin, or current position. We're going to select top of the page. It'll also give you different styles of the way that the page number appears. We're going to go with accent bar number 1. So here it shows you where the header is going to be placed. Then what we're going to do is after the word page, I'm going to go ahead and type my name. And then I'm going to hit tab twice. So what that does is now move my name to the right-hand side, and we've got the page number on the left. And to get out of the header, because you see all this is gray, you're going to have to click Close Header or Footer. So now that has been done. If we scroll down, you'll see that the page number changes, my name stays there. And if we continued on and we get to another page here, it'll automatically update the header with page 3 and my name. Next, we're going to talk about footnotes. So what really is a footnote? It's a way to add additional information that maybe you're not wanting to add within that paragraph, to call attention or point something else out that they can reference. So we're going to put our insertion point on the end of the last word at the end of the second paragraph. And we're going to go to the References tab. And in the Footnotes group, we can click Insert Footnote. And I may say something like, please refer to policies and procedures. So there's our first footnote. So if we go to this paragraph at the end of it, and we want to insert another footnote, whatever we may type, you'll notice that now this has a number 2 beside it. And so then you're going to go read the note that is associated with number 2. Same thing with number 1. And the footnotes will be generally at the bottom of the page unless you select differently. And so you can go to the Footnotes dialog box and you can choose where you want your footnotes located, whether you want it below the text. So if we had it below the text, it would be right here underneath the paragraph, underneath the paragraph that we put the footnote in. And endnotes are entered the exact same way. You just click to insert an endnote. And with that, let's go to this one here, and let's say insert endnote. The difference between a footnote and an endnote is that a footnote will go to the footer of the page. An endnote will go clear to the very last page of the document. And that's really the only difference. It does the same thing. It still calls attention to that you have additional information you want them to refer to. It's just going to determine on the placement of where you want this particular reference located. Do you want it at the foot of the page, or do you want it at the end of the document? That's the only difference with that. You'll notice this one did populate into a Roman numeral, again, so that if you did have both a footer and an endnote, you would know which point to reference and get the further information. So let's look at doing a table of contents. So with the table of contents, what you can do is if you have a research paper or book or whatever that you're doing, and you want to highlight, where they can find certain things, what you can do is you can actually select all of the headings. Okay, and we're going to select all of the headings. And you do that by hitting Control and holding it down as you highlight all of these. And it says select all of them except for the very last one, which would be Read in Word. Okay. So I've selected all of my headings by hitting Control and highlighting them all. And then it says go to the Home tab, and in the Styles group, we're going to choose Heading 1. And it says position the insertion point at the beginning of the document. So here's the beginning of the document. And it says go to the Insert tab. In the Pages group, we're going to insert a blank page. So this is a review really from Introduction to Word, where I showed you how to insert a blank page. So we'll insert the blank page. And so our blank page should have, and I did something wrong, so I'm going to hit undo. This is good use of undo. I really needed to be up here at the beginning of Microsoft Office 2013 when I went to insert blank page for us now to have a blank page ahead of that document. And so with the insertion point on the blank document, it wants us to go to the References tab. And in the Table of Contents group, here's our Table of Contents group. We're going to click the Table of Contents button. And we're going to go to Automatic Table 2. Okay. And so it populated this Table of Contents here for us. And it says select the last heading and choose heading 1. So let's select this, and I believe it's telling us to go back and choose heading 1. Okay. And then it says click into the Table of Contents. So I clicked it. Now we got this box. And it says Update Table, and then click Update Entire Table. And now do you see what that did? You see how Read in Word was, kind of tabbed over? It moved the Read in Word so that it aligned, and now it shows that it's also on page 3. So that's how you would get a table of contents into your section. So we've gone over a header, putting in a footnote, or doing an end note, and how to do the table of contents. And the multi-selection to get your headers is Control and highlight them all there. So if you're able to find a document that's similar to this, you could practice what we just did by taking a document or typing up something similar to just practice going through the motions of each of those things.